Hello, can someone hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So, welcome back from holiday and welcome to class tonight. We stopped at insert menu before the break or before the holiday. Today, we are going to learn about the page layout ribbon tab. Just as the name implies, it deals heavily with pages right here. So, I created this data set and plotted this graph. You can see that maybe this data set is repetition of numbers. I only changed the first row here to enable me plot this graph to use it for today's class, right? So the first thing we are going to look at or to learn in this page layout ribbon tab is the themes ribbon group, right? Normally, we may see this one as not being very important to us, but because as potential data analyst, you will be working with different customers who have their brand and brand colors. That we have to take a little time and look at what we can do with themes. So this place deals with different colors, right? Remember in Home Ribbon tab, when you click this place, you see all these colors that you can apply to your font. And in this place, you can also apply to a background to your cells or range of cells. So I use these colors. I use these colors from this place down here to shade all these cells, right? Because we want to use them for our learnings today, right? So let me insert more cells here so I can shift this one forward. I right click on the colon title and click insert. So it will insert a colon for me. I hope you've not forgotten that. The same thing is applicable to rows. So let me just shift these items, the data set, the graph, and these rectangles to this point so that we have a look at it. So on your page layout, the very first thing you have there is themes, right? So when I click these themes, the current theme we are using is this office theme. That's where all these colors, the default colors, are coming from. Remember, if I just click my home, let's go back to this place, you can see these colors here. They are the default colors. So those colors are coming from this page layout right here. Different companies have different brand colors. But right here, Microsoft has prepared already made themes for you. So that if you don't like the default one, the Office, this one called Office, you can make use of this one. As I am hovering on the different names, you will discover that the colors are changing. Can you see what is happening? The colors are changing with the fonts and so on. Just pay attention to what is happening to what I have on the spreadsheet or what we have on the spreadsheet. So if I click this very one now, the colors that you have now will be the colors that will remain. For example, let me make use of this. Let me click this. This one called Atlas. You can see that the font of these column headers have changed together with the colors. I can return it back to the one that was there before. Observe what is happening. Okay, so you can make use of any of them. You can also create yours. Okay, you can also create yours. For example, if a company or your client says, okay, my brand color is red, okay, you can create a theme for that company. Or if they say, or if the company says brand color is red, blue, and maybe any other color, green, whatever, you can create such a theme right here so that when you are done with the job and send to them, it will carry their colors. It's very important too. So that is when you can use this save current themes. For example, if I change this to any other color, so I come to my home ribbon tab and then change this fill color. I decide to change the fill colors to other colors here, or maybe go down here and change the colors, right? And make changes in all these colors. At the end, I want to change those colors. I want to save those themes as the brand color of that my client, right? When I finish changing all those colors right here, I will go to my page layout, themes, and click save current theme. It will bring out this dialog box and take you to where you have, where themes are being saved. Like this one, I saved it, right? For example. So you give it a name and then click save. It will save. Okay. So once it saves that theme, the next time you come to this place, you can make use of the saved theme by coming to this place. Look at that theme that I saved. Do you understand? So if I click this one now, it will apply the colors that I used. I just use this few color just for example's sake. It's not for anybody, right? I just change a few colors from the default colors that, I worked with, just to show you that you can change your theme and save it. Okay, let me return back to my default color here. So that's that about changing themes. You can change the themes to any color you like, and then also change the font. That leads us to colors, right? So the current one we are using is still the office color. So the same thing, you can take any of these as your colors. All right, it will automatically change your colors, just as what you're seeing there. Okay, in the same vein, you can customize the colors. For example, if I click customize colors right now, it will take me to this dialog box where I can change all these accents colors. And at the end, I can save it also. I hope you understand what we are trying to do.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you can make changes here to your preferred colors. At the end, you save it. And the moment you save it, let's say I change this color to, say, red, pure red, or maybe a darker kind of red, right? And maybe this one to a lighter kind of purple, and this one to maybe something like this. So let me take a lighter one, and I finish that and give it a name. Call it my colors. and save. You can see that that color now is applicable to this place because currently you can see my colors here. You can see this one, I also saved it. That's the one I saved before. So you can customize it anyhow you want it. These ones that are, these first two at the top under custom are the ones I have customized. These ones are the ones that Microsoft prepared for us as default colors. So let me go back to use my Office colors. The same thing is applicable to font right here. Different companies have different fonts, right? So they use different fonts so that they can make their brand to be different from others. Okay, some of them use customized fonts and so on. Some can just choose maybe one of the fonts we have in Microsoft Office as their brand font. So every time they will be using that very font. It's very important for branding, right? So here, if I just hover around, you can see, just look at what is happening to what we have on the spreadsheet. You can see that the fonts also are changing, right? Like this is Aptos display. This is Calibri Light. Different fonts. So any one you choose will affect what you did on your spreadsheet. Okay? But most of the time, we use this Office font, the default font. I am showing you this so that if at any time a client says, this is the type of font we use, this is the font type, this is the font size, and so on, you have to customize our data or report to that very font so that you can do that. So I'm showing you this so that you'll be able to do that. It's also very important. You can also customize it, customize fonts just as we did for others, and then give it a name. Okay? And it will apply to what you have on this spreadsheet. Then the last one under Themes Ribbon Group is Effect. Effect is applied to shapes or objects or pictures. So that's why I drew these shapes here. So effects mostly are applied to shapes. So if I come here right now, you can see this. Just watch the shapes. But as I hover, you will be seeing the difference. Can you see the difference? Sometimes you might not even see it, but that does not mean that something has not changed. It has changed. Just look at what is happening. So anyone you choose, any of these you choose, right, will affect your shapes. So you can choose any one of them if you wish to. Are you with me? I hope you understand this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So you can choose any of them. These are for your shapes. So that's about Themes Ribbon Group. It has to do mostly with the formatting, the colors, the font style, and so on. So that if anybody says, I don't need any other color than this one, you know how to customize it for the person. Now, the next ribbon group we are going to talk about or learn is the page setup ribbon group. This ribbon group that we have here. Right? So here, just as the name implies, this is where you set up your page. Of course, Microsoft has set up default page for us. Now, if you look at margin, if I click margin, the one I'm using is the normal one. This one is the default one. You can use wide and you can use narrow, right? So what you have here is that at the top, from the edge of the paper, let's assume that we're using an A4 sheet. From the top to where the first line will start on your spreadsheet, will be 0.75 inches here, right? Bottom the same, left 0.7, right 0.7. Then where the header will start is 0.3 and the footer at 0.32. But if you come to wide, this wide extends the margins to 1 inch. Top 1, bottom 1, and the header is 0.5, the footer is 0.5, left 1 and right 1. Okay? So now how do we see that? Let me come down to this page layout here. See this page layout? Let me click it so you understand what I'm saying. Now you see this is the margin. You see this place, this white space here. You can see from the left to this point is 0.5. The same thing is applicable to the right. Then the top, from the top to the very first row here is 0.75. The left here is 0.7. The right is 0.7. And if you go to the bottom too, that is the setup, right, that we have here. If I click this one, you will discover that this space becomes wider. Okay, you can see from the margin, from the zero margin to this place becomes wider because we have chosen to use the wide, right? From the edge of the page to where your first line will start is 1. Where the header, where you have this header is 0.5, is 0.5. Okay, so if I choose, say, narrow this one, watch what will happen to the page. You can see that this page becomes smaller, right? Because we have left is 0.25 and right is 0.25. I hope you understand. So, but normally, if you don't have any reason to change, you leave it at the normal, this default one, which is this normal here. So that's how that place works. You can also customize your margins by yourself. It will bring up, when you click that customize, it brings up this page setup and drops you into this margins tab, where you can use any number you like. For example, if I say top should be 5 instead of 0.75 and click OK, you will see that the top margin is the height of the top margin is now 5 inches. Can you see this? So most times you can be given a letterhead paper that the letterhead design has already taken part of the top, part of the margin, all right, maybe down to maybe 3 inches, right? Maybe from 0 from the margin, you have 1, 2, 3. So for you to be able to print your documents or your data or whatever data set from these 3, so you have to set something more than 3 so that it will start below the letterhead, right? So that's why you can also customize your margins. Let me return it back to 0.75 and click OK. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. So the next one is, all right, the next one is page orientation. Of course, we have both horizontal and vertical, which we call portrait and landscape. Currently, your pages are portrait pages, right? If I just come here and click landscape, it will change. It's like turning your A4 horizontally, right? This is portrait, the default, and here is the landscape. You can see that the page is now wider and the height is shorter, right? Meaning that the orientation of the page has been changed from portrait to landscape. If you print this thing out now, it will print horizontally on the paper. The placement or the orientation will be horizontal, right? Not vertical. So that's just that about this one. Most times, if you have data set that are wider, right? You change it, you can change your spreadsheet to landscape so that it can accommodate more of the fields. That's the columns. So that's about this page orientation. The next one is the size. This talks about the different paper sizes that you have. Of course, this current size is A4. Okay. We have A3, which is A4 times 2, right? And so on. We have other paper size, but the most popular is this A4 that we are using right now. You can see that the one we are using currently is highlighted with this light ash or gray color. Okay, so we are using A4 right now. A3 is bigger than A4. So if I click this, you see where this thing ends right now. If I click A3 now, you can see that everything enters one page here. The reason is that A3 is A4 times 2. So the paper is bigger and wider. That's why you can see the whole item, the data set, the chart, and these shapes can enter one page, A3 page, right? Let's go back and change it back to A4. Okay, so that's about this. There's this size. You can also customize your size right here. You can also come here and customize your size. So here you can see all those paper sizes are here, right? So if you have any paper size in mind and you know exactly how that paper is, you can come and select any one of them here. Like this executive paper is shorter than A4. Is the one they call Koto. So on. Shorter than A4 size paper. This letter is almost like A4 size, but a little smaller than. The legal one is foolscap size, and so on. So you can customize and use any one you like. You can use any of these ones that you like, for your work. The next one is print area. Now, if I am printing this page, let me change it to portrait again. You see, when we were in normal view, you may not even notice that this thing has gone to 2 pages, right? You may not notice that what we have here has entered a new page or maybe the second page, you will just be seeing it like this, right? But it's when you go to page layout that you really understand what is happening. Look at how it is divided. So assuming you just sent that this spreadsheet now to the printer, this is exactly what it will print out. It will print up to 3 pages, 1, 2, 3, right? Dividing them the way you see it now. But I can set my print area. Let's return to normal view. I can set my print area. For example, if I say I want to print only this chart, or only this data set here, I can highlight just this data set and set a print area there. So once I click set print area, right, you can see that it draws a rectangle around this data set. So if I press Ctrl and P to print, right, you can see that it is only that place that I set as print area that will print. Remember that other things were still in that page, and that this page slipped into 2 pages. Look at it. Formerly it was like this, but because I set that print area forces only this data set to print in a page like this, right? The one that can enter that page just prints. Do you understand? So, and if you look at this point, you can see where the page ends. Don't know if it's visible to you. So if I want this last one to enter that page, I can now delete one of these columns. But what is important for you to note is that you can set a print area. I can come here and set another print area. I can come here and set another print area. Just like that. There is how we can shrink this one that is going out of that page to enter right in with others, to go in and print with others. But we are going to that place. When we get there, we'll talk about that. I hope you understand. So that is how to set a print area. I can also decide to remove it. Clear print area. Okay. I can also decide to say, let me print and stop here and then come down. Okay. Up to this point. Let me start here. I want to set a print area up to this point. Come to your print, set print area. If I press Ctrl and P, you can see that that area, okay, is what will print out. Now, this one is cutting because you can see this line. This demarcates the page. This very line here. You check, it goes down. It's a dotted line. It goes down. That is where an A4 sheet ends. So from here down to this side is a new new page. That's page 2. That's why this guy did not enter into page 1. So this from here down is a different page. Okay. Let me clear print area. It's out. The next one is break. Have you used page break in Microsoft Word? Do you know what page break does?
No, sir.
All right. So what page break does is to force in
a partial idea.
Okay, go ahead. Let me hear you. Can you tell us what it does?
Okay, the little I know about it is in terms of numbering. If I go for page break, numbering starts from where I break the page, the number accordingly, as in from page 1 to page 3. If I break, the next page that continues, we start all over again from page 1, and it continues that.
Okay. And that's not the main listen. It's okay. What you're saying is fine. When you break a page, the number continues, quite all right. Okay. But the main duty of a page break, what a page break does, is to force a new page, irrespective of where your cursor is. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Let me open Microsoft Word and show you something. You see this page now? I just want to use this to illustrate so that you understand what I'm trying to do or what page break does. Okay? For example, if you are typing maybe your project, you see chapter 1, and maybe introduction, right? And you type maybe your text and so on and so forth. Let me copy this one and paste. Paste here. So if I want to if I want to go to chapter 2, let me paste again before. If I want to go to chapter 2, what many people do is they will press enter key until it enters a new page. And then they type their chapter 2, right? Maybe literature review. So this is a wrong way of breaking a page, right? Because if I delete, if anything happens, maybe the supervisor says, cancel this point, and I come to delete this point, this one that I highlight right now, chapter 2 will automatically come up to occupy. Have you seen what is happening? This chapter 2 comes up here, right? In order to occupy that space, I deleted something. But if I used page break, so this one is in a layout, break, I come here and say page break here. Okay, so this page break makes this page to be independent of the first page, such that if I delete this one down here, that chapter 2 can never come to chapter 1. So irrespective of where I am, right, in this page, if I put my cursor here and come here to break my page, it forces anything below my cursor to go to the next page. Look at what it does. It forces those paragraphs from where I kept my cursor to go to the next page. Hopefully you understand what it's doing. So that's the same thing it is doing right here. Okay, so I have my page 1. Just as we have this spreadsheet here, I showed you when I click page layout, you saw page 1, saw page 2, and so on. Okay, so back to our normal view. Let me delete these empty columns. Okay. So Now, if I check again with my page layout, you will discover that some things have gone to the left, and so on. Now, what happens is that if I want from where I have this chart to be another page, I will use my page break, insert break. Can you see what is happening? The break I just inserted has pushed down this chart, right, to a new page. So there are times you will not like some data set to be part of a particular page, right? So you can use this page break to force that break and push it to another page instead of maybe inserting rows to push it down. Hopefully that is understood. Look at the page break line here. So this one now is a different page. This one is a different page. This one is a different page now. Sorry. From here is a different page because of that page break that I inserted here. Okay. So I can also remove it and remove that page break from there. Let me just delete. Okay, I've deleted it. So that's another way of removing it. You saw what I did? If it becomes stubborn, you can just come here. I highlight these two rows, right click and delete it. If you go and check, it has deleted that page break now. If you come to this page layout and check now, that's our data, that our chart is back, right? So normally that's what remove is supposed to do. This one is to reset all page breaks. So in case you had different page breaks and so on, you can reset them. Normal resets to what it's supposed to be. So that's what this reset all page breaks does. It does exactly what it says. It resets all the page breaks you have, but most times, as in it is very rare to use this page break. There are some functionalities that are not used frequently. Yeah, because already we are good with what we have. But at any point you want to use a page break, you can make use of this. The next one there is, let me return to normal view. The next one is background. Background. You can introduce a background to your spreadsheet. You can get your background from your system, from your internet, or from your OneDrive. So right now, I am going to Bing to search. That's from the internet, right? Because I'm connected to internet. Of course, you have to be connected to internet if you want to use any picture from the net. Okay, let me say landscape and search for it. Just give it a little time. It will bring landscape, some beautiful landscape right here. So I can, wow, these ones are dark. Let's, let me say light blue landscape. If it will give me something lighter, it did not. So let me just say landscape and check the ones it will give me. I just want to demonstrate how you can add background to your spreadsheet. Of course, we did this some when we were learning something some time ago. So I click this one and insert it. Just give it a little time. It will insert it in the background. Can you see this? So it inserts it in the background like this for you. You can also remove it by clicking delete background. That same button that told you to insert is now delete background. So if I click, it deletes it. Look at the background, it comes back to background again. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this one is print titles, right? So you see that if I click this, if I want to print some things that normally wouldn't have printed, like say all these column titles and row titles that normally should not print, I can use this print title, right? So when I click this, I can say print grid lines. Normally, these grid lines are not supposed to print when you send your document or spreadsheet to the printer. But if you want it printed, if you want the grid lines printed, you can check this. Okay. When you print, your grid line will definitely print. If I want a particular row to repeat at the top, that is when I use this very functionality here. You know, there are some tables that may be, or data sets that may be very long. So if you want to repeat the header, right? If you want to repeat like the title row on every page. For example, if I want to repeat this title, this very row on every new page I insert and type something, I can just come here and click here and highlight this one. Press my enter. Okay. Once I click OK, every new page will carry these titles, these headers that you have in these columns here. Right? So the same thing is applicable to column to repeat at the left hand side. If I have any column at this left hand side here, down here, that I want to repeat on every page, the same thing I did to this one, I will come and do to this column. Say this one, I just select this column right now, press enter. Okay. So if I click OK now, right, let's go to the next page and see what will happen. Or first of all, let me press Ctrl P for printing. You can see that your grid lines that are normally not supposed to print, they are here because of that checkbox I clicked, right? That grid line. So it will print your data with grid lines. Okay. You can see this. Now, if I go back, let me use my page layout. Okay. Let me go to this page and start typing something. The moment I click here, you can see that it's repeating. Okay. I go down, maybe type one thing here. I go down here, type another thing. You can see that this guy that we said it repeat is repeating. So that's what this guy does, this print. There are a lot of setup here. Of course, when you click this dialog launcher, it will still take you down there where you can make changes on your page setup. This is for the page. This is for margin that we talked about. This is header and footer that we did some time ago. And this one is for the sheet, the one we just finished a few minutes ago. We just finished talking about a few minutes ago. Of course, you can still see those cell references right here. Header and footer, anything you want to appear on all the headers of your footers, you can type them in right here. You customize it here. Click your header, customize header, type what you want here, whether it's going to be at the left-hand side or the middle or the right-hand side. Okay, if you can recall, we did this before. So anything you type here will appear on all the pages. Your different odd and even number. Anything that you type on the odd number will appear only on odd number pages. Anyone you type on even number pages will appear only on even number pages. And then your face page will be quite different from every other page in your spreadsheet. So margins, this is where we changed things before. So at your spare time, you can play with all these things and see how they work. So that's about that. Now the next ribbon group is scale to fit. Just as the name implies, you scale to fit. For example, when we saw this layout before, you can see that these things are spreading to different pages, other pages, right? Spreading to page 2, page 3, and page 4, like that. So there is how you can shrink this thing right here to fit in to this page. Currently, you have automatic. That's the width is automatic, the height is automatic. So if I said shrink everything you have here, so one page for me, I'll just click one page here. Can you see what is happening on the width? All right. If I do same to on the height, you can see that I have everything in one page right now. Right? You are almost seeing other pages now because this has been reduced to one page. Right? So I can return it back to automatic the way it was before. Right? You can also use this place to scale. Of course, when we made it automatic, you see that it reduced the scale to 30. Okay? So you can make it 100. That's the normal one. 100. And just type 100 right there and press enter. So it returns back to normal. So the more you reduce this place, the more what you have on your spreadsheet becomes smaller and fits into fewer number of pages. So that's the whole essence of this scale to fit. So you can scale 2 pages to fit into one page, and so on. Hopefully that is understood. Now the next one.
Yes, sir.
The next one is where you have your grid and your headings. Okay. So if I want to print my grid, that one we have done it already. I just check this box, print. That is, if I check it out and press Ctrl and P, you will see that the grid lines are not there to print. The grid lines will not print. But if I come here and check print and press Ctrl plus P, you can see that the whole grid lines will print out. The same thing is applicable to headings. If I want to print these headers, these headings here, this and this, I can look at view, see what's happening. So if at any time you go to your Excel and you are not seeing those titles, column titles and row titles, this is what is hiding it. So the moment you click view, they will come in. Look at it. So take note of that. Put it off, show it, put it off, show it. So if I want to print it, if I want to print these titles, right? Column titles and row titles on paper with my document or with my spreadsheet, I can click this. So if I press Ctrl and P, you can see that my titles will be printed alongside what I have on the spreadsheet. That's about these sheet options or sheet options ribbon group. Of course, it has a dialog launcher that still launches you down to this place, right? Now, the next and the last ribbon group here is the arrange. Let me just quickly use this shapes. Press Ctrl down while dragging to duplicate it for me. I think we learned something about this before. Send backward, bring forward, and so on. So we're not going to waste our time here. What this one does, bring forward. When you click this one, bring forward. If I click this very object here, and I want it to be brought forward, it brings it forward one step and bypass the one that was in front of it. Right? This one is still in front. I think we did something like this. We did something on this before. I want to send this one backward. That's behind this blue one. Oh, this is bring in front. This is bring forward. Bring to front, as we learned before, is to bring any object, irrespective of where it is. Whether it is at the last, it will bring it right to the forefront. That's what it does. This bring to front. Watch. So it brings this one to the forefront. Okay. So send backward sends it one step. It will just bypass the one that is behind it and stay behind that one like this. You can see that the green is now in front. This one goes to the back of this light green. The light green now is in front, while the darker green is behind, right? So if I send to back, it takes this green to the back of all these shapes. That's how it works. The section pane, of course, I have showed you this before. All what we have here are here. So watch as I click. So I can highlight them using this pen. See it? If I want to highlight them, I can just select all. Look at, you can select all. That's that I can show all, I can hide all. Show, hide, show, hide, show, hide. Right? So this select all, remember in Home Ribbon tab, where we selected all of them, right? I'm supposed to be able to select all of them here, right? Okay. So that's it. I can select all the objects right here. So it's just for me to press, when I click any one of them here, I can press Ctrl A. Ctrl A will select all of them. You can click them and move. I see that I can move all of them right now. You can click anywhere to deselect them. So back to page layout. This one is to arrange them. Okay. So if I want to arrange all these ones to start at the same left, to start to align to the left, I can press shift down and click this one, click, and then come to this place to align them to the left. Can you see that? It aligns to the left. The same thing is applicable when you are aligning them to the center. Let me reduce the width so that you understand the align to center, even though we have done it before. Look at align center. This is how it aligns them. You want to align to the right, the same thing. Just come here, align to the right. Everything aligns to the right hand side. Okay. And so on. The same thing to the top. We'll take everything to start at the same place. Why you did not see all of them is because these ones are bigger. So let's do it now. To the top. They align to the top. All of them. So the same thing is applicable with all these other options. The one I'm going, let me look at this distribute horizontally. For example, I have this down here. I have this down here. You can see that this space and this space are not the same. This one does not even have space at all. If I select this, all of them, and come down here to distribute horizontally, watch what happens. It distributes them evenly, making sure that the spaces in between them are the same. Okay? So the same thing is applicable if these shapes were aligned vertically. Right? This space is bigger than all of them. So if I select all of them, I can come here and distribute vertically. You see that the spaces now are the same. So that's how this place works. Right? Snap to grid. Snap to grid. This one snaps to the grid as if you are moving, if it affects the movement, right, of the object. I think this is best taught in a design class so that you understand. Not too important to us for now, right here. So that's that. For that one, you can group these objects. This is where you group, and then they are just like one. If you can recall, we did this scene before when we were working with the home ribbon tab. You can also ungroup. They are now, you can move them individually now. But as I just moved them now, I can go back without highlighting or without selecting all of them and then regroup them. You can see it regroups them. So let me undo, Ctrl Z or Ctrl Z to undo that. Finally, you have your rotation 90 degrees. 90 degrees here. Rotate right 90 degrees, rotate left 90 degrees. Right? You may not really see the effect of that rotation. Let me find something. Say in this shape, I use my and just draw something here. Okay. Back to page the top. So let's rotate. Have you seen it? So this is what rotate does. This one rotates 90 degrees to the right. This one rotates 90 degrees to the left. You can see what's happening. While this one flips, watch, the top will turn to bottom, bottom turns to top when you use vertical flip. See where this thing is. If you use this one, it turns up. The same thing is applicable with horizontal flip, right? Where you flip, the face will turn to the back and so on. Have you seen it? So those are the effects of this flipping functionality here. So more rotation option. If you click here, it brings up your pen, right? So that you can do more here. You can scale here, say 150. That's the height. You can also scale this one 150. It's just like you dragging this to be big or small. So you can do other things right in this place. Okay. So that's one. Any question? Did you learn something today?
Yes, sir. I learned a lot.
All right. So is there any question before we close? If there is no question, then we can call it a night. Thank you very much for attending. See you in the next class. Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.